Thousands of miles away is a place of culture, tradition, and also mystery. A place where its borders have been closed to tourists for decades, but has always been rumored to have a love for cars. From sand dunes to the incredible skyscrapers, this is a place with its doors now open. This is Saudi Arabia.
Welcome to Saudi!
I've come to Saudi on the opportunity to come to the Global Auto Salon, an event that I heard about while I slept in a camper inside SEMA this year. We were promised to see the capital city of Riyadh, go to the event, and learn about their culture and ways of life. I'll be the first to admit, as I approached the border, I was very nervous. I was in a place with a much different mindset and a different way of pretty much everything from us in the United States. However, I walked in with their new e-visa system, which is a visa on your phone, which also seemed odd. I walked into the country with no problem and I made it into Riyadh. Hello and welcome to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We are some of the first tourists to come to this country after years of being closed off. But here is a wonderful palace behind us. In 1902, it was taken by only 63 people, and essentially the place served a whole bunch of different things, but we are here in Saudi Arabia to check out their car culture. The Saudi we know today was created in 1902, when the Saudi family itself invaded this palace and claimed the land for themselves. But a new crown prince was introduced who is in his 30s. There's been pretty big changes in Saudi lately because of this. Women can drive now, and they never used to be able to. There isn't a dark cloud hanging over your head the entire time. PDA is still illegal though, like giving somebody a hug or anything of that nature. And with the Global Auto Salon going on and Riyadh season going on, let's just say that some of the punishments have been put on hold. Let's just say not the nicest things happen in this square if somebody does something very bad. This is the Grand Mosque of Riyadh. It's absolutely beautiful. There's tons of space, but they're actually in prayer right now. That's why I'm whispering. But there is prayer 5 times a day, and you also have a few hours to get your prayer done here in Saudi Arabia because Islam is the official religion of the country. You can actually practice different religions, but it has to be in private. You can't do it publicly. As for the actual architecture, it's absolutely beautiful. I also explored a true Saudi market, which had a lot of things that would be put in a museum if the United States had found. So for the record, this is an engraved Arabic dagger from probably 100 years ago, and it's just in a gift shop. Like, it's not in this would be in a museum if it was in the United States, if this was a Civil War era weapon, but it's still there. Behind me is an antique store that has a typewriter, a sword, a BlackBerry phone. Used once, mostly works should be the saying for this one. What'd you find?
Oh, that is cool.
That is really cool, actually.
That is what you
That
need.
guy was so cool with that 69 Impala.
And hold it for a second, please. There's more.
Oh, that's a cool one.
That's it. That's it. Camels.
Camels.
That's not.
Oh, look at that!
He's in it.
He's working.
Yes, very hard. And cruiser.
Oh, whoa.
Wow, this is. Okay, let's
Classy.
put this here so people can see it.
Yeah. There's a microscope to see into your soul. Riyadh is a pretty impressive city when it comes to the development. You can tell there are big steps being made to finish the skyline. I pretty much saw every Western franchise you could possibly imagine, even Texas Roadhouse. But one side of the city is being complete and the other is getting ready for construction. Once we got to the Global Auto Salon, it did not disappoint with some of the things to do. They had everything from a real-life Hot Wheels loop, a crazy collection of cars for auction.
50,000 to start. Thank you. Now 75, 75,000, and 75,000, 75,000. Is your bid? 100, 100,000.
I had never been to a place where a row of Bugatti Veyrons seemed like I was just in a local parking lot full of Civics. I saw everything you could possibly think of. The new Koenigsegg Jesko, the Koenigsegg Regera, the Agera, the new Apollo, the old Gumpert Apollo, Diablos, even a beautiful blue carbon Pagani Zonda. It was the first place I ever saw the trifecta of hypercars in one spot. Also, a dream of mine was always to see a Ferrari F40 and F50 next to each other, not to mention the Porsche 959 next to it. I know a lot of people in my audience aren't into supercars, but I will say this was a sight to be seen. Ferrari even showed up with their FXX program, and Hoonigan did not disappoint with their live Burnyard show.
You ready to get rowdy and Saudi or what?
Only in Saudi.
Only in Saudi, baby. Can I ride it? Can I ride it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here, David, hold this.
Okay, I will.
Let's see.
Oh, he's got it. Yeah, buddy. There's a bucket list item for you right there. Yeah. I am so glad you actually knew what you were doing.
Oh, it would've been
Instead of
awkward
just
if I
like,
didn't, yeah.
wee, this is fun.
Oh, look at these guys go.
What? Oh, good effort, good effort. That was amazing.
That was good.
That was amazing. To finish out our trip, we went out into the legendary endless sand dunes and Nissan patrols. We drove deep into the wilderness and saw random structures all over the place. To give you guys perspective on just how different the geography here in Saudi is behind me is an oasis, and then behind me again is the desert. It's very, very on-off. You'll have giant sprawls of land of these red dunes out in the distance, and then all of a sudden, green. So imagine being somebody with no car, no plane, no anything for hundreds of years, scaling this desert and just figuring it out. That blows my mind. Camels are really big, but I'm allergic, so I'm gonna die when I touch one. Abby, was that your first time seeing camels? I was like, you're like obsessed with them.
I'm a camel whisperer.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
We communicate. And I gave them some corn.
And they're gonna spit in your face.
Yeah, maybe.
Hitting up the dunes was a surreal experience, and it was fun to watch the locals show us how it's done.
Right in my eye. Be careful, close your window. Yeah. Window.
It's closed. Oh, shoot!
Dude, I'm like,
I know, we're just sliding back and forth. That was awesome. We also ended up sitting down and having a traditional Saudi meal. Essentially, you sit on this really comfy carpet and also comfy couch, essentially, that's on the floor, and you just dig in. It's unbelievable. Honestly, being in Saudi was an experience that I won't ever forget. Even though they have a very different culture than we do, I would still consider Saudi to be close to a first world country. It just still has a lot of its old traditional ways due to the government standards. Although I didn't get to see much of the local grassroots car culture, every single person I encountered was respectful to me and seemed very excited to meet people who were from the West. Although we still have many differences in our culture, at the end of the day, meeting a car enthusiast is just that. It's the one thing that bonds us all together. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Take it easy.
Go.